Welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Teachers Podcast. With me today is my dear friend Amy Ma. Amy is the founder of Soul Gratitude Village. She's a medicine woman. She's a wellness and educational mentor, as well as a grief mentor. So it's such an honor to have you on today, Amy. Welcome on.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah,
Of
it's good
course.
to be
Yeah, we have
here.
some amazing topics for y'all today. We're going to talk about star children, rites of passage, communal grief, the Dagara tribe of West Africa, and all different types of initiations around the world. So uh, it's gonna be a really interesting one. I'm really excited. So, Amy, would you be open to sharing how your awakening journey started?
Yeah. Mm, I recall myself just looking back, it's almost like at this stage in my life, looking back and say, oh, it all makes sense.
Hmm.
I feel that when I was 8, so I was born in Hong Kong,
Hmm.
and I left Hong Kong to Vancouver when I was 16. And so we have a very strong, so I have a very strong cultural foundation,
Hmm.
from the Chinese. And I remember that I used to go to Macau a lot and to visit my great grandmother. And when I was 8, actually, she passed away.
Mm.
And I remember like riding, these big ferries to go ahead and go to Macau and to her funeral. And as an 8-year-old, this is my first funeral, and I don't know if funerals are actually supposed to be, it's all family included, and but I wasn't prepared. I think my parents or my grandma didn't prepare me on that.
Hmm.
And during the funeral actually is based on Taoism.
Hmm.
Family is um follow Taoism teachings and philosophies. And I remember at the corner, I was hiding because there was just a lot of commotion and there was just a lot of wailing.
Hmm.
Every hour, the relatives will go out, to the body and just wail and wail. And then for 15, 20 minutes, and then they come and sit back and then they go again.
Hmm.
And then the priest, the Taoist priest, will come with these flags and symbols and just clang and just all I could feel was the whole earth is like shaking. And all the entities just I feel that became alive for me.
Wow.
Yeah, at that time I feel that very vulnerable at the corner and just almost in tears, but don't know what to do.
Hmm.
Um, After that, I noticed that after reflecting all these, that from that time on, my body was completely open. Like the veil became a lot thinner, and I could feel energy. I can feel if something just swept by, I would say, oh, that's someone coming by, and I could feel either some energy brushing, through my body. And I was in deep fear, actually. Um, I
Yeah, it's
remember
scary. It's definitely scary,
it
right? Yeah,
is
to start
scary.
seeing and feeling spirits. It's not for the
Yeah,
faint of heart, you know?
no. I remember that I had to cover my feet every night because I'm afraid that they will come and get me. So, yeah, and from that time on, I was sick. My body just completely, I've been really vulnerable, open, and that's when the physical healing started. My parents couldn't figure a lot of problems and took me to acupuncturists, herbal doctors, all kinds of doctors, and just couldn't figure out. And it's been a long journey, and from getting sick, from digestive, from spine issues, and all the way until 26.
26 years old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and that's when what changed was actually I got pregnant. And
Uh-huh.
I feel that my child had blessed my body and completely almost like closed that portal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm back to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
So did it feel like you took on a bunch of these energies because you were so open and like so upset about your great grandma?
yeah, I feel I was open, but I also don't know what I should feel about my great grandma.
Hmm.
I don't think there is any upset about it, but I just feel, well, looking back right now, I hope there is a ritual actually to protect the children.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And exactly, just say a prayer, just very simple prayer and say, may these children will be protected from these whatever their entities that are coming in to this space that is considered sacred.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sometimes all it takes is a simple prayer and that intention, just being very firm with it can really make a huge difference in a lot of things in this reality.
It does. It
Hmm.
does. Yeah, rituals and prayers, actually, I feel that we are lacking in this culture in a
Yeah.
way. Yeah. And when I grew up, where I grew up is, the ritual. I remember that because I was sick and my grandma would go to the temple and burn an incense and then get the incense ash and put in water and said, drink it. I
Oh,
said,
geez.
so I've eaten a lot of ashes in water. And
Uh-huh.
that's the way that did I get well? Yeah, at the moment it's like, well, there is medicine inside the prayer. Um, so slowly, I mean, we do try. So with all these prayers and rituals, and most of the time, with rituals, when we call rituals is rights and responsibilities,
Hmm.
right? When we initiate a right, there comes a responsibility, and the right is actually responsibility for being the truth, right? And also to embark and acknowledge the healing journey that we each one carry.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So
Mhm.
that's a beautiful way to get initiated. So from there, did your gifts start to come back online more and more?
I feel that once I was pregnant, and I just say, goodness gracious, I'm back to my body. So really at that time, it initiated my parenting journey.
Hmm.
Yeah. And my body just changed completely, as if just bringing, this soul, my oldest son, just feel that the protection is there for
Hmm.
some reason. So I feel that in the Chinese, there is an analogy. Is that if you are in a bad luck, get pregnant. So,
Oh, wow.
get pregnant and have a child because the child actually brings in the heaven luck. And I
Hmm.
guess that's what happened to me, and without really knowing.
Yeah.
And mhm.
Wow. That's a really interesting, but I mean, it makes sense, right? It's like this baby is coming in and like coming into this new world. There's a new energy. You have to be fully in your body, fully present with every kick in your belly, with every craving that you're having, right? Like for different foods and all these things, right? I mean, I can't speak on it at all because I'm not a woman in this life, but I would imagine, right?
Yeah, it is definitely something that is very special. And I wish that, men can actually experience it because a big part of my work is also preparing these mothers
Hmm.
to welcome the baby, to this birth realm. So we start a ritual, a ceremony to go ahead and open up the birth portal and hold them during birth. And during birth, It's really not just birthing the body of the baby. It is welcoming the souls. And also, we are looking at our own birth stories.
Hmm.
How are we going to be rebirthed as a new person, as what we call a mother or a father?
Yeah.
So I hold these parents together to really go through their birth stories, perhaps their mothers and fathers' birth story, because when we say ancestral healing, this is where it comes, is we are, as we're birthing, we are holding them. I often said, I said, when we celebrate birthday, we're not celebrating only our birthday, we're celebrating our mothers, our fathers, our grandmothers and grandfathers, all the way of their birth.
Yeah.
So to welcome our own birth. With the birth stories, the birth journey, parents can feel the wounds and trauma ancestrally and how to be released and birthed out
Hmm.
and to be reborn to be a new person. And then after that, we also have postpartum. Postpartum is very important.
Hmm.
In the Chinese way, we have 30 to 40 days. In our way, how we sit in our postpartum month is actually 30 days. And after 30 days, then the mother can go out. So within the 30 days, the mother has to stay at home with no bath, no shower, no washing hair, really honing in to restoring the heat because the baby is the heat, right? The
Hmm.
furnace. And
Hmm.
when we restore it like that, then we tend to have less ailments when we get older. Particularly what I see in the Western world, we have a lot of people are dealing with headaches.
Hmm.
And if it's a woman, we know that it usually is the loss of the heat during the
Mm.
postpartum. And maybe bone ache or arthritis or anything like that can come on how you care, how we care for our postpartum body.
Mm. Hmm.
And then after the postpartum, within about 6 months, we want to go ahead and help the mother to close the birth portal.
Hmm.
So they come back to the body, and the child also have their own body to carry on in this world while during this healthy attachment.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's really beautiful. So there's no bathing postpartum for the woman at all. Like not even a hot bath. It's
No,
meant to build the heat. Okay.
restore the heat, restoration, basically.
Yeah.
Restoration and rejuvenation.
Okay.
So yeah, I remember how gross it can be,
Uh-huh.
especially, you know, the body is, I feel it's more how I remember wrapping my hair because it became really, really very different feeling.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we used to wash our hair,
Yeah.
often than we can. Yeah.
Hmm. A lot of oils.
A lot of oils. And those
Yeah.
are healthy actually.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That's really interesting. I keep seeing this uh 30, 40 days across a lot of different cultures, where, there's the 40 days in particular is across so many different religions and across so many different cultures, where when we do something for 40 days, it creates a new energy, a new cycle, a new way of being, right? And it just depends on what the intention is, but the 40 days seems to be a very, very sacred number that carries magic just by committing to that amount of time of doing something.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. And actually, one interesting thing about the culture in West Africa, in this Dagara tribe from Burkina Faso, when a woman is actually pregnant, the shaman and the village will gather around her And the shaman will come and hypnotize this woman for the fetus to speak through the mother's voice.
Wow.
And the shaman will ask, say, why are you here? What medicine are you bringing to our village?
Uh-huh.
Asking this fetus,
Yeah.
to speak. In a way, is the village wants to know is to how to hold this new soul coming that is being welcome, and the whole village is going to go ahead and make every way to make sure this soul is walking the path, right?
Yeah.
So all these rituals is actually really, really powerful, I have to say.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So I'm so curious, how did you learn about the Dagara tribe of West Africa? What about that particular tribe attracted you? And how long have you been uh, learning about their culture and their ways?
mm, yes, death is actually always have been my there's just a very strong curiosity into it.
Hmm.
And in particularly because of the funeral, that I've attended when I
Hmm.
was 8. And that was my first witnessing of grief.
Yeah.
And throughout my growing years into adolescent, I also have experienced a lot of grief in during or my mother's addiction. So being in the teenage years have been really based on the prayers to really to move through for me. So 3, 4 years ago, I was at the Wilderness Awareness School in Washington in Duval, and
Mm.
that was my first official grief ritual that I have experienced, and it changed my life.
Hmm.
From that time on, I learned that this tribe, this Dagara tribe, they hold the village together through grief. So grief is the glue of the community. And you would think that how is it, because grief is such a powerful medicine. And when you are being sacredly witnessed in a communal setting, you become really the power of healing. You're acknowledging each other's sacred bundle of medicine,
Hmm.
right? And being witness, really takes a lot of courage and vulnerability as well. And that was my first experience with grief ritual. And because of the shift of how I was held in this ancestral realm during the ritual, I felt so much power, and love from them to say, here you are, carry on your medicine and help others with, through grief, which, help them with transformation and healing.
Hmm. And so, can you describe the grief ritual a little bit? Because I've done one, and it was a wiping of the tears ritual with sage. And so we would walk up to one another and just wipe the tears off our face and go around the circle. And everybody does that for each other. And not everybody's crying, but the ones that are crying, it's just so beautiful because we're interacting eye to eye and we're wiping each other's tears. And it's such a beautiful way to connect. And we don't share why we're crying, but we're able to hold space for one another and just connect so deeply in that moment. So, yeah, I'm really curious. What did that grief ritual look like?
Yeah. Well, that's profound. I'm just still feeling that. How does it feel to be wiped, with
Yeah,
safe with
yeah,
people, just in a circle? That's really, really special. Thank you.
yeah.
Um, so Melidoma Somé was the teacher who brought the grief ritual here.
Mm-hmm.
And Francis Weller is also one of my teachers, and he actually he used this analogy. He said, tending the grief is like you are just letting go of that U-Haul behind you, that you are not really needing to go ahead and tow that U-Haul for the rest of your life,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so the grief ritual for the death, for honoring the death, there are 5 portals actually to honor the grief. In the tribe, when someone dies, the whole village will stop and they will honor the person for 3 days. The three
Mm-hmm.
day is the grief ritual.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do, the wail, they really come in welcoming the tears and the wailing. And on the other side of the village, there will be djembe and dancing and drumming.
Mm-hmm.
So the louder the wail, the louder the drum.
Beautiful.
So yeah, that's partially you are grieving, but in another way, because grief and joy are just really on the other side of the coin,
Right.
right?
Right.
Right?
Uh-huh.
When we tend to grieve, we can access that deeper joy. So this village, they believe that when you grieve, you are not only grieving for your relatives who have just passed, but you're grieving for the village. You're
Mm-hmm.
doing work for the village. You're doing work for the ancestors and the whole humanity. And when finish grieving at the shrine, when you come back to the village, the whole village will cheer and hug you and hold you and say, thank you, thank you, thank you for your work.
Mm-hmm.
And then here comes the dance again. So everybody, so in the grief ritual like this, for us that we hold it right here, we actually have one coming up in San Diego in April.
Beautiful.
Well, yeah, so I'm really excited. And during the ritual, we have some sharing circles and we have 2 ritual. And the ritual is really based on what Sun Fu Somei and Melodoma Somei had passed down to us.
Mm-hmm.
And my grief mentors from Port Townsend, Lawrence Cole, which is a renowned song leader as well, he's coming down and to go ahead and um, guide this ritual also.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah,
And it doesn't, if to go to the ritual, you don't have to have had a death recently. It's just you show up as you are, right?
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're going to say about, according to Francis Weller, and he's the author of The Wild Edge of Sorrow. And in his book, he described there are 5 portals of grief.
Mm-hmm.
The first portal is whatever you love, you will lose. So if we just close our eyes and just feel into it in a way that the deeper we love, the deeper the grief, the deeper the grief, the deeper the love, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it almost asks, do we have the courage to love?
Mm-hmm.
Right? If we know that the grief will come one day, including our own death.
Mm-hmm.
When we leave our body, do we have, at this moment when we're living, do we have the courage to go ahead and go deeper and love deeper, to the very last breath?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. The second portal is whatever we expect we did not receive. And that will include perhaps parental love, right? Perhaps a job, perhaps anything that in life that we expect to receive that we did not. So that's the second portal of that. The third portal is those places that had not known love.
Mm.
Imagine those places such as depression, anxiety, addictions, shame, and guilt, right? All these, even anger, all these are actually the root cause of it is grief.
Mm-hmm.
And when we tend to grieve, perhaps these places will come out to go ahead and create the power of love,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Now, the fourth portal is earth grief,
Earth
grieving
grief.
for the
Yeah.
earth, right? For the
Mm.
forest that we have lost, for the environment, for the humanity, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And the last portal is ancestral grief
Mm.
for those who have walked before us, how much that they have felt, suffered, and so forth, that we are here to honor them as well.
Yeah. Yeah, those are all very, very powerful. Very
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah.
Yeah.
So tending grief is not only death. So it basically, if we look at all these portals, every one of us actually, as a human, experience right here, we can access grief in
Mm-hmm.
any of these portals right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting for me to kind of zoom out on which periods of my life I had the most grief, you know. Uh, when my mother passed, she was paralyzed for 5 years and before she passed. And so my grief was during those 5 years. And then when she passed, there was this joy. Her spirit came and joined me. Like I knew the moment she passed, before my dad called me, before anything, and her spirit came. I was meditating, and she was at hospice. And she came and was just, her spirit was in so much joy. She was just like, I'm free. I can move. I can go wherever I want, you know? And it was just, for me, it was a really different experience than most people have, you know, with that. And, and we, I had an opportunity and a moment with her, you know, before she passed where we forgave each other and really told each other we loved each other and appreciated one another. And so that to me was, I know, a huge gift because not everybody gets that opportunity. So that felt like, okay, there was this preparation for 5 years because she was wanting to go for 5 years, uh, and then there was this acceptance over that time, and then this beautiful experience where um, I helped her soul cross over, and it was just it was just really special. It was really nice to be there with her and to have that experience. So I know it's very different for everybody, and I think that, you know, just like anything, it can be alchemized and shifted, and as long as we're feeling everything in the moment and allowing ourselves to go into those portals, those five that you mentioned, there's this joy on the other side of the coin, you know, and so it can be a celebration as well, you know.
Wow. That's a powerful experience for you, Peter,
Yeah,
to to feel the liberation of your mother,
yeah,
right? When you told a story, it just reminded me of Ram Dass. He said, when you die, you just look like that you are coming out of a very tight shoe.
yeah,
And I just really love that analogy of so many, like, especially I would say in perhaps in the Western culture, in many other cultures, that death is something that is a taboo.
right,
And I mean, but in a way, we are all in preparing for it, right?
yeah,
And my biggest inquiry these days is how do we actually tend the death during our lifetime right now? And my grief mentor, Lawrence Cole, as far as I knew, that he actually weaved his basket already with willow.
mm,
for honoring his body, after that he leaves his body. But then in our culture, how we just like every day, so many things going on as if that this sacred moment of one day, if we leave the body, do we actually have any time in our lifetime to actually to pause and have a preparation for it? Um, I
Yeah.
recently actually experienced something very, uh, just very, very, it's an eclipse season, right, Peter? Anything
Yeah.
can happen at this
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. I mean, there are yogic practices that I've done and that are available. There's many different ways of like quote unquote practicing dying. There's like the breath of death, right? Where you're just like breathing as if it's like your last couple of breaths. There's ways of, even Shavasana, right? It's the corpse pose. You're relaxing so much. It's like you're a, there's an opportunity for your body to astral project and leave, right? Like your soul to go adventure. That's like a small way of practicing death. It's there's many different ways that I've uh, found, but um, it's it's very interesting, right? It's very interesting to think about because one of the ways that some cultures celebrate death is that the whole tribe will take psychedelics, whether it's usually mushrooms, right, like a psilocybin, and they will ha be able to see the soul and help the soul cross over. And to me, that feels like that's how I want to cross over. Like I want all my friends to, you know, go into that realm and we can all have a party, just not in our bodies. And then we can, and then, but it's ceremonial, right? It's very sacred. It's not
Mm,
done in a party way. I'm just saying it's a celebration, right? We're coming together and then the spirits can walk each other up into the light or wherever the next stage is, right? For most people they say it's the light.
yeah,
And or I've read in the book The Journey of Souls. Have you ever read
mm,
that book?
not yet.
Oh man, if I think you'd love it. But
Yeah.
it's 40, I've mentioned this book several times. It's 40 different encounters that this hypnotist took people into where they had near-death experiences. And he
Mm,
documents all of them. And across the board, they all share that once we started crossing over, we met our guides and they kind of did a evaluation on us. Okay, did you do this? You wanted to do this when you went in. Did you do this? Did you clear the karma with this person? And then and then sometimes if it's an older soul, they're like, I know where I screwed up. All right, I'm ready to go back. Or let's take me somewhere else that's gonna align me more with better opportunities to clear that. And and so that book in particular just gave me so much reassurance, right? That there is these guides and these angels, and I've had visitation from my guardian angel in the physical, where
mm,
she's shown up in my reality, and I was able to see her, which was really powerful. But uh, yeah, the guides are very present. They're always with us. But with these kind of uh, documented cases, to me, that gives my logical mind, my monkey mind, that reassurance, right?
mm,
That it's real and it's not just something that is made up.
right. No, it's very real. What do you feel that will you be coming back again?
It's a good question. I it starts to kind of take my mind to a place of time, time isn't real. And then so the past lifetimes, quote unquote, aren't necessarily the past. They could be the next lifetime. So
Mm.
these memories that I sometimes get flashbacks of are actually something that's happening at the same time, or my soul could go into those experiences after this lifetime. So it gets a little bit, you know, I like to, lately I've just been in this space where I'm like, I'm gonna come back, keep coming back to the student, not trying to figure anything out, just be more of the observer and keep learning. And then what happens there is gonna happen there, and we'll see what's next, you know. But what do you feel about it?
I love when you say being the observer.
Yeah.
Just being the observer and the sacred witness of how everything is rolling around
Yeah.
and and to even coming back and have that consciousness of being equanimous and say, I'm just going to be a neutral, observer. And I guess the more time you come back, the more neutral you will be. And, reactions that really doesn't work. And we know that. So, yeah, I feel that there is that part, when talk about grief, it's like, is there anywhere else that is more beautiful than this earth?
Hmm.
With these towering trees where I am right now living in Mount Shasta. Look at that, just the mountain covered in snow and the birds and all these things. I mean, what is next?
Right.
Right. So we'll see, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Mount Shasta is one of my favorite places in the world
Yeah.
that I've been to so far. I've been trying to go every year since 2020, which was my first time going. Uh,
Wow.
I actually went with my ex-partner who introduced me to you
Uh-huh.
back in 2020. It might have been 2019. It was like I think it was right before, yeah, I think it was right before 2020, 2019,
Yeah.
like August.
Mhm.
And man, I find that place so special, and I would love to live there or have a piece of land there one day. And how long have you been there now?
I moved here last October 2025 and
Okay.
living in and out here for 10 years. And yeah, I mean, it is special. It is a vortex. It is the root chakra of the earth, right?
Right.
So when we come here, we definitely know that we have to tend the root causes of everything,
Hmm.
and including our own birth story.
Right.
So yeah, holding rituals here really it's a powerful, powerful place. And yeah, come and visit. There's no word for it. This mountain just says it all. It's just like if you feel the calling, you just come. However, you see a lot of people weaving in and out, is there has to be a reason to be here, I have to say.
Hmm.
Right? And can I share a strange story that how it brought me here up?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to hear it. We would all
Okay.
love to hear it.
So that was actually a confirmation of first of all, I held a rites of passage and retreat up in the mountain this summer.
Hmm.
And it was beautiful, just holding all these beautiful souls to go ahead and tend their root. What is it? Perhaps it's grief, perhaps it's um anger, which so there's ritual to help them to move through this energy. So after the ritual and uh, after the retreat is over, I actually parked. I was going to go back to San Diego, and I parked at the base of the mountain, and I experienced a an astral projection. And this is how it went. I
Wow.
was in my body. I knew that I was coming out, but I was sleeping in my car.
Uh-huh.
at that time, my luxury truck. But I was laying there and I could feel myself coming through my birth canal.
Wow.
So I was literally laying there knowing that, okay, I'm coming out, but I'm squeezing myself out, birthing myself out. And after I birthed myself out, I heard a voice say, "Welcome, Aluna." And that is the name that I've embodied since I was 2017.
Wow. That's a powerful name.
Is it? Okay, this Aluna name also came very special. This Aluna actually it has a movie that was documented by the Kogi tribe, and I was given.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I've done work with them and I'm about to release an episode. So by the time your episode comes out,
Oh,
there's an episode that I just recorded 2 weeks ago with the Arawakas,
oh
which
wow.
are the tribe that is um also in the Sierra Nevadas with the Kogis and the Wiwas.
All right. I look forward to listening to that. That's exciting.
Yes, really interesting.
Wow. So that was, I didn't know I was given that name and I looked up and then I found the Kogi tribe at that
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
So that was something that was, I feel just very honored and blessed. Yeah, to be here.
Yeah, the Kogis, the Wiwas, and the Arawakas, they all have mamos, which are like the spiritual leaders. And so I've done some work with the mamos in Devil's Tower in Wyoming and in South Dakota in the Black Hills. We did
Mhm.
some ceremonies and no no substances, just ceremonially offering and helping balance the land. So it was really, really profound, really sacred places in the U.S. where the Lakota people would do Sundance and where the buffalo still roam free in the Black Hills in South Dakota. So it was really profound. So I think my mission with them is still ongoing, and I love meeting people that are connected with Mount Shasta and connected with those people because they are the most tapped in I've ever met to the earth and to the astrals at the same time. It's really hard to describe unless you spend time with them. They're very, very tapped in and special people. So yeah,
Um,
I think that's beautiful that that was the name that you heard. And
mhm.
so, uh, what happened after that in that experience?
The whole portal just opened up.
Hmm.
Um, I am being offered. So my initial intention here is to open a school
Oh,
for the children.
beautiful.
Yeah, a Montessori school. That's what I have been in San Diego, running a Montessori school for 20 years.
Hmm.
And I felt called. I said, I'm coming here to set up a wilderness Montessori school.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And and then the housing opened up and landowners just showered me with so much love and say, come, have your school here, tend your community here. And I said, wow. So I arrived and yeah, feeling really blessed and very welcomed here. So far, it's been such a beautiful journey and the school program is unfolding and the Telos actually showed up.
Oh,
Also,
really?
yes.
The
So,
beings from Telos.
so yes, and that was through meditation and yeah, so here's another wild story.
Yeah,
Okay.
could you share what that was like and what they looked like, what they said to you?
Yeah, okay. So I don't really read about these stories. I try to stay, it's just like astrology. It's like I'm gonna honor life. That's how it directs me without reading what is, destined in a
Yeah.
way. So I haven't explored and read about that, but on my one of my morning meditation, it was on February 14th. on Valentine's Day, I decided to sit and face the mountain. My apartment here actually see the mountain right here.
Beautiful.
So meditating just like normal, and suddenly I was being swooped under the mountain.
Mm,
And it was in almost like a council space, and it's kind of dim, but there's light coming through. I was dressed in white, sitting in the middle, and there were beings surrounding me. And these beings they are like formless, but with form. And they are tall, like 7, 8 feet tall, and they have hands, they have face, really cannot really see the eyes, but they, you know that they're there.
hmm
And then the hands and the legs are just like, and they kind of levitate off the floor because there are no feet. And we started talking, but not with words. In a words, it's words, but then telepathic. We don't use our mouth.
Right.
Cannot speak. And then they were there is just an energy of love and welcoming, and they were doing a ritual and blessing, and I just sat there and be very silent because I here also observing myself in my body, the meditating body, observing myself, spirit body being sweating
hmm
down there. So after they finish, I came back to my body. On the same, I feel on the same day, on the 11/11, there is a meditation in town. So decided to go there.
hmm
Again, I was brought in under, and that meditation actually had a pyramid um, constructed with rocks, perhaps copper, and with really tall, like 3 to 5 feet tall crystals right in
hmm
front. And I was being guided in under the pyramid, and I say, "Oh, Mount Shasta just feel like a pyramid underground, actually." And at this time, I was sitting in the circle. I wasn't in the middle. I feel that they're welcoming me as part of them. And telepathically, they ask me, "What is your purpose being here?"
hmm
As if the shaman in the Dagara tribe asking the pregnant woman, "Why are you here?" It has
Right.
that energy, right?
Right.
And I said, "I'm here for the children."
Mm,
And then they express gratitude and thank you, and just felt so much love coming from them. And here I am, and then I brought back to my body and really have confirmed that whether it's children, the little people, or the children of the earth, all of us,
uh-huh.
it's just really beautiful to be of service. Yeah.
That's really amazing. That's
Mhm.
really amazing. Yeah, so for those that don't know, Telos is a city, almost like a crystalline city inside of Mount Shasta in another frequency or another dimension. So uh, there are some people that have gone inside and come back and shared their stories. Uh, I know of some people that have shared about that, and there's some YouTube videos about that. What's really interesting is that the first time I went to Mount Shasta, there was a lot of missing people signs, like
Wow.
everywhere, all around town. And it was kind of freaky. It kind of freaked me out. I was like, why is this? Like, what's happening here? And there's a lot of cases there of like people jumping off a bridge and then their bodies are never found, like into the lake or into the river, right? And so there may be some portals around that take you into Telos, into that other dimension. That might be what's happening there, as well as, uh, it's a very high Bigfoot activity there. I
Mm.
had I had 3 encounters when I was there, and I have a whole podcast just about that. And I think I've shared that some of those stories with you. So yeah, it's a few things happening, right? And then there's the little people that you were mentioning. that also live in this reality, but they may be able to go in and out that are almost like gnomes or small elves, something along those lines. I forgot the name of them. Do you remember the name?
In the Dagara, they call it contemplate.
Okay.
So there is a divination. Actually, the contemplate is to speak, to carry the messages from the little people. So that tradition, I'm familiar with it.
Mm,
But yeah,
yeah.
I know the
Yeah, I've had
people.
some friends that live there, or have lived there in Mount Shasta that have had encounters with the little people as well.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And then you got the fairies, right? You got a place called Fairy Falls, which has a lot of fairy energy, and there's a lot of these sacred, untouched lands that these beings live in and on. So I think something like a psilocybin mushroom helps us remove the veil and to really see what is happening around. You know, sometimes people talk about seeing these beings on psychedelics because their vision, the veil is removed from them, and they're able to see the into other dimensions and into these other realities.
Wow. Yeah, it's really a magical place.
Yeah, I'm really excited for you. I think
Thank
uh,
you.
it's so perfect for you, and I think that there's going to be some really big openings there. There's some people I'd love to introduce you to that live there year round as well. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
some of them have been on the podcast. So uh,
Uh,
yeah, it's really a special place. I plan to be there this year. I usually go for the Lionsgate portal on
mm,
8/8. So we'll
wow.
see if it aligns this year, but that's the intention.
I look forward to seeing you. It's
Yes,
all
yes,
aligned for you. Thank you.
absolutely. Yeah, so I think this is a good time to talk about the Star Children, since this is part of your mission, right? Uh, and you've worked with a lot of them. Recently, I worked for a year in physical therapy with kids, and it was babies all the way up to, I think my oldest was like 20 or 21 years old, and a lot of them have autism, a lot of them have Down syndrome, some of them just have physical, uh, you know, aspects in their feet or in their hands that we're working on, but a lot of them, the majority was autistic. And what was fascinating for me, which I've talked with a few guests before, and I'm really curious about what you think about this, is the kids that, when you look at them, they look like they don't really know what's going on. They're kind of running around doing their thing. And then you give them an iPad with letters and sentences that they can click on, and they're able to fully communicate in a way that I wouldn't have expected them to be able to, right? And then there's these studies like the telepathy tapes. Have you heard of them?
Yes.
Where they talk about how these kids that are specifically autistic will go to this other place, like astral project almost, or be in that space all the time while they're here, and they're able to interact with one another in that space and communicate and play and all these kind of things. So I'm so curious, with your experience with many years of working with kids, what your experiences are, and uh, how what your thoughts are on these things with the Star
Mm,
Children.
yeah, thank you. There is just such a beauty and grace in a Montessori classroom because it's just everyone, let's say, a classroom of 24, let's say, and the Montessori guide basically have 24 individualized curriculum
Mm,
to work with. Like every child has their own design curriculum.
Hmm.
So that individual, we honor that unique gift out of every child. And I'm going to say, let's say we are looking at the first plane of development, which is 2.5 to 6 years old.
Hmm.
And if we look at that, according to research, a lot of the wounds and trauma, according to research, right, is 0 to 7,
Okay.
where where these unconscious wounds and trauma that might be passed down from conditioned society or from parents, right? And then in the adolescence, and they found that they suffer from depression, anxiety, or things that they don't feel aligned anymore, right?
Right.
So in the Montessori classroom, you can truly tell and really listen. I mean, as a guide, all we do is observe and listen. And usually with the children that are autistic, if we go ahead and clinically define them, they are very sensitive to stimulation and environment.
And energy.
Yeah, they can earn energy. And they're uniquely gifted in something really, really like is their way of learning. Let's say I had a 5-year-old who could do 4-digit multiplication of five mentally,
Wow.
okay, and yet have socially awkward
Right.
and always just solitude is the best because they just couldn't deal with anything. So for him, all day is just working on math. It's his language.
Yeah.
This is his language to commune with the universe,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
And he will discover himself the all the patterns that an adult, normal adult mind, like me, couldn't figure out. How do you even figure out all these Fibonacci? You don't even need to teach him, and he figured it out by himself.
Yeah.
So in the classroom, so my mission and my job, how I see it is to go ahead and honor these unique gifts that they carry. And through that passion, we go ahead and hone into that true human potential,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so they can go ahead, whether they can be in the society to act normal, we don't need them to act normal. We want them to go ahead and feel that they are here for a very special reason,
Right.
right?
Right.
Whether it is perhaps is healing the collective through the nature of consciousness or just through ancestral. And a lot of times parents have no idea what they can do, and that's initiate the parental healing journey, right?
Yeah.
And most of these children, what I found is also sensory wise very sensitive and sometimes not knowing how to use their body. So sometimes they may feel that they are a little bit hyperactive
Right.
and perhaps that they don't know how to use this energy that is overly blessed. How about I say it this way? Yeah, they're
Uh-huh.
just very open and they can, when they said ADHD, they can focus. But in a way, when they focus, you get them laser focused in something they truly, truly love.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. And I've seen that. I've seen that, like all these diagnoses uh are actually just another word for gifts for these kids, And even when they become adults, they have a very specific mission with these gifts. And when I was a kid, you asked me about AI, I would have never in my wildest dreams been able to describe what's happening with AI right now? So when these kids grow up, there's it's going to be a totally different world that they live in that it's hard for me to even imagine, right? And so I believe that we all have some sort of blueprint that we're here with, and that blueprint allows us to really navigate towards the things that are really aligned with our soul's purpose and mission here, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And also, I feel part of us, our mission is to offer these, special gifted adults, that are grown to be adults, or to, they once were children, perhaps a village that they feel honored and safe to be in a space to process and integrate.
Yeah. Yeah,
And that will help them really to continue to express their gift fully and creatively and in a non-judgmental way.
for
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
Mhm.
For sure. And, you know, I'm in this, I've been told in the past, but about how there's certain tribes that when somebody is what we would consider schizophrenic, for example, those are the ones that are chosen to be the shamans of the tribe because they're able to be in one world and in the other and go back and forth and navigate in those ways, right? And so these other gifts that these young star children are carrying also have a very important role that we may not even imagine is going to be part of this reality at some point, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. Yeah, thank you for sharing this. It's really it touches my heart every time when I work in a classroom and seeing children that are gifted in this way and not being acknowledged and being put aside. So I'm here in Mount Shasta, and you know that in Siskiyou County, Mount Shasta, the socioeconomic is really, really low. There's really a lot of single mothers with children here that is unresourced. So for me being here is having a nonprofit to be able to raise enough funds to support these families. It's really important for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really important work. That's really
Mm.
important work. Yeah, one thing I wanted to add about the children is that uh, some of them, I believe, their main mission is to just hold unconditional love for the planet. Because some of them, you look at them, they're always smiling, they're always happy, they're not worried about the politics and the laws and the and societal pressures of what they should dress like or what they should be wearing or looking like, and they just carry that frequency of unconditional love. And I remember when I was in middle school, it was a rough time for me. Uh, it was a very conservative state and school, and there was this one girl in particular that was in the special ed class, and she was always laughing and clapping, and she wasn't able to verbally communicate. She was very, just so much joy. And looking back at it, I would get really triggered because I was like moving through this mini dark night of the soul, you know, like this part of my life that was felt really challenging. And I would get this reflection from her like, hey, you don't have to take it so seriously. You can be happy and just enjoy life. And I remember being like, oh man, like, why is she always laughing and being so happy? And it almost like would make me it would aggravate me, and I would be like, oh gosh. But now looking back at it, I'm like, man, what a gift, to have that soul to remind me of that, to remind me that there is so much joy and life doesn't have to be so serious, and I can find the beauty in every moment, and so for me now, it's a completely different viewpoint, you know.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. That actually, yeah, thank you for having that reflection. That is that unconditional love, holding that space is Ah, I can feel it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. And I, you know, yeah, I just now I can really appreciate it. I can really like thank that soul, wherever she is now, for that beautiful light that she would shine
yeah.
on my uh, middle school years, which, you know, for some people can be very challenging with the hormones coming on, and it's a tough time for most people.
Hmm. And that's also why rites of passage is so important.
Yeah, this is a good
Um,
transition into that. Let's talk about that.
right? And that is exactly where the middle school age is 12 to 14.
Yeah.
And honoring these young men and young women, the coming of young men and young women through the natural world connection is definitely, I mean, think about it. If I'm gonna say, let's say just human connection is, yes, it's precious, but at a middle school age, maybe all they know is just themselves and their peers, right?
Hmm.
And there might be a lot of, thoughts about, you know, what's my purpose? What's my identity? What's my place in the world?
Right.
And yeah, exactly. So I could feel that middle school age Peter
Yeah.
right there. And what if you imagine that there is a mentor from the village coming and say, Peter, I'm going to take you out for 10 days out in the wilderness. I'm going to show you how to survive and sort of thrive through making fire from scratch. Okay.
Hmm.
Building your own shelter, learning the bird language, foraging food in the wild, tracking the animals, and so forth, and bushcraft.
Hmm.
Okay. And through this, all these skills, these ancestral, these primitive skills, that you get to lean into this more than human world,
Hmm.
not just people, but now you are self-sufficient. You say, if I don't feel good, I can at least go out to the mountain for a few days and survive,
Yeah.
right? Need skills. And we don't have enough of this in here, in this society. This wilderness rites of passage was truly a gift for myself. Just to be able, one of my biggest fear was darkness.
Darkness.
Darkness, and there's a story behind it because I'm gonna get way back to the rite of passage later, but that darkness is because walking my dog in the dark when I was in college, I was almost being carried away by a man
Oh,
in
wow.
the dark. So that was my trauma of walking in the dark. And for myself in the dark forest, blindfolded, walking, and the village is drumming, and I'm walking towards the village back home. That was my most profound experience of this healing or darkness, right?
Yeah.
For a youth to go ahead and connect to the earth, something like this is absolutely just empowering and powerful,
Yeah.
right? What if a 12-year-old Peter have these skills and to be able to go ahead and express this grief and anger right in the natural world, where the natural world can actually absorb everything that you carry, and you
Hmm.
come back in this human world and you feel regulated
Yeah.
and heard and seen and acknowledged.
Yeah, that would have been really nice.
Right? Yeah, so so we hold these rites of passage for these anywhere from 12 to 18, and sometimes adults also who have not been initiated. We bring them back to the wilderness and really convene with this Mother Earth to listen, to honor, to to receive. So yeah, really
Yeah, I
powerful
love
retreat.
that. I love that you're doing that offering. It's really important. It's really
Yeah,
important.
thank
I
you.
I you know, I've had several initiations as an adult. I didn't have any as a teenager. But as an adult, uh I was on this journey to really understand what being a man looked like for myself. And I didn't want it to look like my father. I didn't want it to look like, societal examples. I wanted to shape my own version, right? So I went and did different initiations and I tried out one of the major one that comes to mind is combo, which is a frog medicine. They take the poison off of the frog, off the skin while the frog's alive, and then they burn a little spot on your skin to expose the dermal layer, and then they put the frog poison on there, the combo. And I've done it about 4 or 5 times now, and each time is different, but it's true warrior medicine. That medicine like really tapped me into the warrior. I think you've sat with it before too, right?
I have not.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's something that, yeah, if you want to tap into your warrior spirit, it's really powerful.
Yeah.
Um, and it's it that was something that I really felt was a big initiation. Also, Vision Quest, going out into the woods by myself, with a mentor, kind of like what you were saying, right? Where the mentor helps set up the space, and then you make an altar, and then you are on the altar, right? And so it's a date with creator is another name for it, that my mentor would share with me. So that was another beautiful initiation. Um, Different men's work groups that I've been part of have been really powerful in my initiation to understanding self and understanding that relationship to the masculine in particular, and molding that for myself. Those are some of the ones that I can think of. There's others, but um, what have been some of your major initiations?
Hmm. Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Of
Yeah,
course.
combo. Yeah, not yet. Thank you. Um, um, I feel that just leaving Hong Kong from 16 to Vancouver and living by myself,
That's a big one.
a huge initiation for me. And just being a parent is like a whole rite of passage right there.
Yep.
Yeah. And ongoing initiations, just being a student and a teacher at the same time.
Hmm.
Really listening to the children. They're just my teachers that have tested me over and over again, looking at myself and reflecting, what else can I work on in order to be what I can call myself a guide,
Yeah.
right? Or mentor. The forests in the Pacific Northwest definitely have helped me quite a bit
Hmm.
in the village through the Wilderness Awareness School that was staying 1 year in Washington State right there with 35 people definitely have helped me to really uncover some gifts that I have never have thought about and would have never if I did not venture out to the forest. So definitely really grateful for the natural world connection that have been brought me to where I am today and hopefully to inspire more people to lean into that, either whether you're an educational leader or wellness leader, to be able to lean into that non-human world, to share their medicine. I feel that is really powerful when we come into nature And when nature come in to be the teacher of all,
Hmm.
it's definitely, as you say, really profound in every way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, especially if people live in the city, it there's so there's such a deep connection with the natural world, especially the trees and the moss and the waters and the stone people and the rock, beings. All that is just like you mentioned earlier. It's like you can come there like totally depleted, totally cortisol spiked out of the spectrum, where it's like so stressed and just sitting on a rock in nature or next to a tree or those kind of things, or just walking barefoot, right? Can activate and open so much. There's all these studies that show when you're walking barefoot, within 5 seconds of being barefoot on the earth, the inflammation goes down 20-30%, something like this. So uh, I feel it. I feel it. And there's like a grounding feeling after being in nature for long enough. And there's this relaxation of the nervous system and regulation that starts to happen in that space. So it's just our God God-given right, to be in these spaces. And I believe we're meant to be living in these spaces as a society. And I really strive to go back to this village-like, uh, tribal, uh, way of living where we're growing our own food and we're living off the land, and the kids get to play, and there's no corporate job waiting for them when they're 18, and like they can really tap into all those gifts and enjoy, really thoroughly enjoy being present in this reality.
Yes, and that's our what our work is here
Right.
is exactly what you have mentioned, that sovereignty from, food and as you say, tending the land and not to worry about these worldly issues and challenges. And you can step in and out, and that would be really the most beautiful journey ever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Hmm.
So for you, for the initiations that you offer, you have the wilderness rites of passage, right? Is there
Hmm.
any other, and you also do the communal grief, right? Which
Hmm.
is also initiation in its own way. Is
Hmm.
there any other uh, offerings that you have that are related to initiations?
Yeah, one of the deepest work that I'm doing right now also, it's really bringing on these leaders, these educational leaders or wellness leaders to be able um, to get it, how to connect in the natural world, to add this component perhaps into their offerings. So the mentorship really talk about what we call the eight shield. It's very similar to medicine wheel, but the eight shield mentoring, how to go ahead and, just looking at walking life, finding purpose, or even simply just planning a retreat. Through this mentoring model, basically, we could look at how nature work and then bring it to our work while also bringing people out to nature with these skills, very simple, just even bird language or animal tracking. These are just raw, rewilding, that becoming that human again,
Hmm.
and perhaps just temporary stepping away from technology or AI and honoring that technology of nature.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
that's really beautiful. And you offer both of those, all three of those in Mount Shasta?
It's both. So we have grief circles online and then the grief ritual in San Diego, which is coming up April 3rd.
Amazing.
We do have, yeah, and we have a grief circles and rituals here in Mount Shasta as well. And the leadership mentorship, it's both, it's hybrid, it's online, and the final, the culmination and the passage, the journey will be in Mount Shasta.
Awesome. Awesome.
And yeah, so basically a lot of things. So I'm tending both routes, knowing that, we met in San Diego. So San Diego is my route. And
Yeah.
then yeah, so it's also my route right now. So I've been traveling back and forth once a month to tend community, tend our village in San Diego. And that has been really, really beautiful to stay in connection and bring the offering of the energy of this special mountain to be the bridge between, Southern California and Mount Shasta and also Washington State. So I'm just basically just a gatherer and a bridge. That's it.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a connector too. You're really good at connecting people and different vibes. We're doing that right now with Vegas and San Diego, where we're building that bridge with different events and things like that. So it's been really cool.
Nice.
And we'll share all the links to all of your offerings and the grief ceremony and everything like that for those that are interested in joining, and all of your beautiful offerings as well. So that'll be really amazing. And yeah, I feel like we really covered a lot of really beautiful topics today. And uh, you're always welcome back on the podcast anytime you'd like. Thank you so much for joining today, Amy. Or should I call you a Luna now?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Peter. So, so, so appreciate for, your work. Just really grateful for the time of connecting with you. Yeah,
Thank
right
you.
here, right now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Until next time, Amy. Thank you
Thank you.
again. Take
Thank
care.
you.